Hi, everyone. Welcome to First and North. My name is Luke Canellis at Fox 32 in Chicago. Joining me this week on First and North, let's bring in the crew. The voice of the Detroit Lions, Dan Miller from Fox in Detroit, from Fox Milwaukee, Lily Zhao, and from Fox Minneapolis, Ahmad Hicks. Good to see everyone. I want to get right into it. NFL's biggest news of the offseason happened last week. Packers stepped up, pulled off their biggest move, man, in more than a generation, trading for the league's best defensive player, Micah Parsons.
I'm like you guys, like when it came out that, I possibly was going to get traded, I was kind of like, and I'm right on socials like you guys, and I see, I'm like, man, then I see Packer Nation kind of going like crazy. I don't know what to expect. I never had seen anything outside of Dallas. And, Dallas is pretty nice itself, and I'm looking around like, whoa, this is as nice as it gets. I'm not even going to lie. There is a lot of expectations, and I'd be a fool to not think that there isn't expectations or there isn't pressure in the position that I'm stepping into.
All right, before we get into his availability this Sunday against the Lions, I want to go around the horn. Obviously, Lily, we'll start with you. Packers now tied with the Lions. I was looking at Super Bowl odds, and they're tied with Detroit at 12-1 to win the Super Bowl, behind the Eagles, Bills, Ravens, and Chiefs after the move for Micah Parsons. What's the feeling amongst media and fans in Wisconsin now? Is it Super Bowl or bust for the Packers? What is it?
I think it's exactly that. Listen, the Packers, they've certainly made their home run swings in every single generation with a general manager. You had, Ted Thompson going out and getting Charles Woodson, and then before that, Ron Wolf with that signature move getting Reggie White. So Brian Gutekunst is hoping that Micah Parsons is his guy. He's hoping he's the guy that gets this team over the hump. So it is certainly Super Bowl or bust for the Green Bay Packers. They're not bringing in a player of Micah Parsons' caliber just to be good enough, just to be good enough in the NFC, just to be good enough in the NFL. They want to win the whole thing, and they believe that Micah Parsons really shifts the landscape of their team, of what they're able to do in their division, and of course what they're able to do in the NFC. So they're really happy about the move for obvious reasons. Micah Parsons happy about the move for 188 million reasons as well. So Packers are just hoping this all works out, but we'll see how it goes week one.
All right, let me bring in Dan Miller, because Dan, you've been the voice of the Lions for what, 20 years now, right?
21 coming up.
21 coming up. You have seen moves in the past in the league like this, but maybe not one as big as a team getting a two-time All-Pro pass rusher at the age of 26. So arguably his best years are ahead of him. How much better are the Packers with Micah Parsons?
Well, there's certain players in this league that can change a game with one snap and how they play that snap, and he's one of them. I mean, this is a massive move by the Green Bay Packers to get one of the premier pass rushers in the NFL. There's no sugarcoating that if you're one of the other teams trying to figure out how this impacts you. So this is a big-time move by Green Bay. It's not a move every team could make. Like I said, we talked about it last week. Number one, I can't believe Dallas traded him. But if you watch the Cowboy documentary, it reminded you of one thing. Jerry Jones is a brilliant businessman. He's not a very good general manager. And this is another example of that. There's no way you trade Micah Parsons. But you know what? Good on Green Bay for taking advantage of the opportunity, going out and getting him. And like Lily said, now you are a team that is looked at as Super Bowl or bust, because this will impact you down the line. And this will impact your salary cap down the line. But when you have a guy like Micah Parsons and a chance to win a Super Bowl, that's the chance you take. That it may impact you later. You'll take the now.
Yeah, Jerry trades him for 2 first-round picks from a Packers team that we're talking about going to the Super Bowl. So really, how valuable are those first-round picks? Ahmad, is Green Bay now the best team in the NFC North? Be honest with me.
On my face, I kind of made a facial expression when Lily said Super Bowl or bust. I think that's the category a lot of Packers fans are putting this team in now, but I still think just a couple of weeks ago, they were projected to be the last team in the NFC North. Now they're projected to win the Super Bowl just with Micah Parsons. I'm still thinking about offensively and who's going to be their go-to wide receiver. Is Josh Jacobs going to be healthy the entire season? But certainly it does increase the odds for them to head to the Super Bowl or maybe the NFC title game. I mean, Micah Parsons is a game changer defensively, and my jaw nearly dropped when I saw the trade news that he was coming to the NFC North. I was like, oh, buddy. I was like, this is going to be one interesting storyline line for the rest of this season, especially for all those left tackles and right tackles in the NFC North.
Yeah, and for those of us that are still hoping someone steps up here in Chicago to be that left tackle, even though Ben Johnson did announce Braxton Jones as his starting left tackle next Monday against the Vikings. Going back to the Micah Parsons, Jerry Jones, I don't want to say disagreement, but different understanding of a private meeting the two had. Parsons thought they were just talking about generalities. Jerry Jones thought they were really getting into specifics about a contract. Jerry thought that he had a handshake deal.
As far as Mike is concerned, he was out of the country. He got a call from Jerry's assistant and was asked to come in to meet about leadership. So when he got back from his vacation, he came in and he gave them a call, told him he was back, he was ready to meet. At some point during that meeting that was represented to him was going to be about leadership, it turned into contract talk. And, if you're a 25-year-old football player and your boss, who happens to be the most powerful person in the NFL, starts talking about contracts, it's hard for you to end that conversation. So they had a conversation. Micah nodded his head out of respect. Obviously, there's a power dynamic that's a little different there. One guy is the owner of the team and the GM, and the other one is Micah Parsons, a young 25-year-old football player. So I'm not sure if there was a miscommunication there by the time Micah walked out, but at no point did Micah believe that he was negotiating a contract.
Now, I can't deny how big a deal a healthy Micah Parsons is for the Packers. I'm with the three of you guys out there. This is huge in the NFC North. It's huge in the NFL, and obviously a monster in the Wisconsin, Green Bay area. Now the Bears need to account. I'm going to specifically bring it to Chicago because the Bears need to account for not only Micah Parsons, but how about Rashawn Gary as well? Bears rebuilt the offensive line. Needs to worry about the man who wears number 1 specifically. Here's the good news, at least locally here in Chicago. I've got confidence in Ben Johnson, right up there with a Sean McVay when it comes to devising game plans against defenses, and we are going to see it on Monday against Brian Flores in Minnesota. And that includes coming up with an offensive game plan against the best defensive player in football. Also, Kenny Clark killed the Bears here locally, so I'm happy to see Clark leave the division. But the Bears are still going to see him in Week 3 when Dallas comes to town. Parsons better get home. Parsons, that is, he better get home because that Packers secondary, in my opinion, is questionable. And finally, I heard a number of reporters talk show hosts as well, talk about the Parsons move helping Jordan Love in the offense most. And I even saw a few talking heads out there claiming that Jordan Love is now a favorite to be the league's MVP. Somewhere I'm missing out. I just don't see it. Other than that 6-game stretch to wrap up 2023, which earned him that ridiculous contract, I just don't see Jordan Love as the MVP in the NFL, but we're going to find out. Lily, Parsons reportedly dealing with a back sprain. May need an epidural injection. What's your gut telling you? Do you think he plays Sunday against the Lions?
Yeah, it's all indications that he reportedly will go on Sunday, but I'm assuming it's going to be on a pitch count of sorts. Again, if he gets an injection, we shall see. But I think from all indications, his agent, also said that, he's going to try his best to get out there. But from what I'm understanding is it's a ligament issue in his back, not a disc issue. So that's very different. You see him right there with the sleds. I mean, he's not going to be going kind of full go if it's going to be a back injury that's going to keep him out for a game 1 and game 2. So because, the Packers, they do play that Thursday night game. So there's not really a ramp up period for Micah Parsons. It's full go, but the expectation is that we will see him on the field on Sunday. But the question is, how much does he play and how effective will he be with that back injury?
Yeah, Dan, how much can he play? I mean, he has had no training camp.
Well, I mean, listen, he's an athletic freak. What you hope for is that there's no situation that makes the back worse. And what you worry about with a guy that hasn't had a lot of camp is a muscle pull or something like that. So, look, I anticipate he'll be out there. I anticipate he's going to be a problem. But Dan Campbell has been faced with guys like a Micah Parsons before and has been faced with Micah Parsons before. And what he will usually say when he's asked about him is, I like my guys. And that's Penei Sewell and Taylor Decker, his 2 tackles. And they've obviously put a lot into those guys. And they're going to lean on those guys when it comes to facing your better players in the league on the edge like a Micah Parsons. So, look, I anticipate they will see him. I anticipate he'll move around. I anticipate both those tackles will see him, and they'll probably see him on the inside too. So you know what? It just makes things more interesting, guys. And certainly this trade has been one of the most interesting ones we've seen in the league for reasons in Dallas, for reasons in Green Bay, and then for reasons for everybody else.
No worry for the Lions now with Ragnow and Zeitler gone?
I wouldn't say that. Look, there's certain questions, Lou, that we've been talking about throughout this offseason that we can't answer until we get to Green Bay and then let this season start to tell the tale of what this team is. And that is the interior of this offensive line, where you did lose Zeitler and you did lose Ragnow, and that's two new coordinators, both of whom Dan Campbell has full faith and confidence in, but you need to see them do it in a game. So for all the talk that we've had and all the people that have said the Lions are doomed because they've lost their coordinators or the Lions are going to have problems on the interior of their offensive line, you know what? We may. We'll see what happens. But you don't know anything until they get out there and play. I can't tell you how it's going to work out, so I can't tell you, no, that there's no concern. I'm going to tell you, we're going to watch. We're going to see exactly what these young guys can do with Glasgow in the middle of that line, and then how these coordinators do as well.
All right, Ahmad, let me move to next Monday. Justin Jefferson going to play against the Bears.
Yeah, he's been ramping things up towards the end of training camp. He wasn't taking part in team drills while we were there, but he was off to the other side of the field getting conditioning in with another quarterback running routes on air. So there's no concern here about Justin Jefferson. He will be out there when they take on the Bears on Monday Night Football with his number one quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, going back to his hometown, Lou.
And his good old buddy, wide receiver Adam Thielen, who drove that trade with Carolina, even took a pay cut from what I'm reading. Guy put up great numbers in 2023. Honestly, what's reasonable to expect from Thielen now at the age of 35?
I think you can expect him to be there, be Mr. Reliable in weeks 1 through 3 while you don't have a Jordan Addison. And then I think he may be a third down wide receiver, someone who's going to be where you need him to be whenever he's called upon. I don't think he's going to be a superstar. He won't be a type of wide receiver he was in Carolina, where he's getting over 70-plus targets in a season. I think he's just going to be Mr. Reliable. And I just think it adds to the receiving core that this Vikings team has, you know, with Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and then Jalen Naylor whenever both of those guys return. So I think you're talking about one of the best receiving groups in the National Football League, with Adam Thielen coming in and him being essentially a number 4/number 3 wide receiver. I mean, that's a good problem to have if you're J.J. McCarthy and Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah, I agree with you. T.J. Hawkinson says McCarthy looks a lot like Matthew Stafford and a little like Kirk Cousins. What do you think?
I mean, look, he would know better than I would know right now, because he's been the one throwing with him all offseason and during training camp. But I think that we should just hold off on all the narratives or storylines or projections about J.J. McCarthy until we see him play football. And then we can compare him to other quarterbacks. But right now, it's like we don't know anything about him. He hasn't played a game in the regular season. So let's see him play 4 weeks, and then we can compare him to other quarterbacks.
All right, we can't wait to see him next Monday here in Chicago at Soldier Field. We need to take a timeout. When we come back here on First and North, the NFL Top 100 list finalized. We recap the list, give our final predictions for this season. It all comes your way next here on First and North.
Major League Baseball on Fox.
What I'm doing, getting right to it. The money is talking, I'm flowing, it's coming in just how I do it.
Oh my goodness! Major League Baseball all season long on Fox.
All right, we're back here on First and North. I'm Lou Canellis at our Fox 32 studios in Chicago. Dan Miller is at Fox Detroit. Lily, Fox Milwaukee. Ahmad Hicks, Fox Minneapolis. NFL Top 100 list finalized. Here's where our teams stand. Check it out. Lions led the way with 7 players. Green Bay, 5, if you include Micah Parsons. And the Vikings with 4. And how about the Bears? I'm a little surprised the Bears don't have one player amongst the top 100. This isn't right. How about Jalen Johnson? I believe this guy's a top 100 player. Remember last year when he wasn't named a top 100 player? He didn't take kindly to being left off that list, and I won't repeat what he said. Johnson didn't play as well in 2024. I get it, as he did in 2023, but he's still one of the top cover players in football. How about Joe Thuney? Who put this list together? Thuney's one of the best guards in football. All-pro last year in Kansas City. Even helped out at left tackle. Dan, I know you agree with me. The Bears were
I'm not carrying your
disrespected.
water.
I mean, Lou, if they win some more games, they may be up there, you know?
Come on. I know.
Yeah.
They just got to win a little bit more, Lou, that's all.
Let's see what happens, Lou. We'll go from here. Listen, I've been hearing people talk about the Bears forever. So, you know what? Hey, like Ahmad said, maybe after this season you're going to have 5 guys on there because of what they do this coming year.
All right, Dan, I want to let me focus in on the Lions because only the Eagles had more players than the Lions did, and the Eagles had 9. Really a testament of the job that Brett Holmes and Dan Campbell have done, right?
It's why we're in the position that we're in today as we sit and talk about this division with the Lions being 2-time defending champs. It's because they have drafted and they've developed. And the core of this team is made up of guys that are 26 years old or younger. And it's the guys that they've drafted since they've been here. And they've become the cornerstones of this team. And they've used their draft picks wisely. They've developed them. And look, nobody's going to hit 100%. They've missed on some. But for the most part, you can look around this team and see the Brian Branches and the Kirby Josephs and the Amon-Ra St. Browns and the Gibbs and the J-Mos and the Penei Sewell and Aiden Hutchinson. And I don't want to leave anybody out, Jack Campbell. And if I forgot somebody, I'm sorry. This is a team that is made up of guys that have been drafted by the Detroit Lions and then developed by the Lions. Goff brought his career back to where it was when he was in Los Angeles. So there's a lot of positive about the way that they've done their business. But that's what you have to do to win, Lou. That's what wasn't happening in Detroit for decades and why they didn't win for decades. So, yeah, that list makes sense to me, but it's the work that they've put in to do that.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Holmes is terrific. Ahmad, I see Justin Jefferson at number 9, and I think about my fantasy football draft.
Yeah.
And I think Jefferson and Jamar Chase, they're the 2 best wide receivers in football. I think 9 is too low for Jefferson.
I think he would say that too, but I don't think he would come out and pay that ranking any mind. I think when I saw that the other day, the first thing that came to my mind, I have not been in any fantasy football draft where Justin Jefferson made it to number 9. So how he got picked number 9 against his peers, and these guys are supposed to know football, just blows my mind because I'm pretty sure there were some jealous cornerbacks that voted on this and was like, you know what, Jets routed me up. I'm not putting him as the number 1 player, but it's okay. I think based on his stats, 7,000 yards in 5 seasons. I mean, this guy and what he's doing is just off the charts. And I mean, look, if people think he's number 9, then he just has to go out there and prove why he should be top 5 or something like that. So he won't be a guy that talks about it.
I am drafting top 5 in my fantasy football draft. If he's there, I'm grabbing him. I'm with you. Dan, I'm going back to you. How about this news from Allen Park? Graham Glasgow's status for Sunday. Talk to me about it.
I think he's good to go. He left a practice late in camp. And by the way, let me throw Terrion Arnold out there as well. I think he's a guy that's going to jump up huge this year for the Lions. Might be a guy on that list last year, and I don't want to forget him. Listen, Graham left a practice late in camp, and I think that's what started this whole thing about whether or not he was going to be ready to go. He's going to be ready to go. He will be in the middle of that offensive line when they open up against the Packers, and he is huge in what happens to the Lions this year, because to one side he's got a rookie, and to the other side he's got Christian Mahogany, who has not played much in this league. So they're looking for Graham to lead, make sure they get everybody in the proper position, and he calls out the right protections. So he has got a lot on his plate, and he is ready to go.
Lily, Jaden Reed ready to go Sunday?
Packers are hoping. I think Jaden Reed also hoping. Again, Matt LaFleur said Jaden Reed, Nate Hobbs, those guys are trending in the right direction. As we all know, Jaden's dealing with a Jones fracture in his left foot, so that's something that usually requires surgery and a couple months to heal, but Jaden's going to play through that. He says, these last couple of weeks off has certainly helped, but he's just going to try to play through the pain. That's just the kind of player he is. He wants to help the team contribute, so the Packers are hopeful they will see Reed and Hobbs, Nate Hobbs, their cornerback, on the field on Sunday. But again, we're going to learn more on Wednesday when they do practice to see if he is out there.
All right, Reed, Hobbs, any other names we should be on the lookout for?
Yeah, Elton Jenkins, I think, had a rest day on Monday. He's still kind of nursing that back injury, which kind of took him out of camp for a couple of weeks early on in the year. So we'll see if Elton Jenkins will be a full go. But outside of that, the guys are looking good. And, of course, Micah Parsons and his availability as well. But this team feels like they should hopefully be at full go when they do play the Lions.
All right, that's the big news. Final show before the NFL season kicks off Thursday night. Want to get everyone's final predictions for the season. But before we do that, I want to go to a very smart man, Kyle Brand from Good Morning Football. He gave us his pick.
Such a good division. But with so much change and so much unproven, you have to go with what is solid and established. No, you don't. Bear down! Bear down! Ben Johnson is going to work. Caleb is going to work. It's all going to work. It is a knife fight in the NFC North, and I believe that the Chicago Bears, the pride and joy of Illinois, will win the NFC North in 2025.
Ahmad, that is a very smart man. I have news for you. That man knows what he's talking about. And there is no way the Vikings are going to win 15 games again.
I'm not surprised that you and whoever produced this show, Roger, threw that in there because you guys work in Chicago. I just knew that's where it was going when I saw him pop up. I knew it was going to be Chicago, and I did not watch Good Morning Football. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. I know you're probably surprised by my answer. I do think the world of Ben Johnson. I think he's a tremendous coach. I think we're just going to have to see how well Caleb Williams can adjust to his learning curve, because there's going to be a big one from his offense last year to the one this year. So I'm not going to sit here and say that the Bears won't win, but come on now. I think we have to pay respect to where respect is due, and it's Detroit. I think we should be, respectful of them and what they've accomplished the last couple of years. And then I'm going Minnesota behind them before I pick the Bears. Come on now, Lou.
How many you got for the Vikings?
10. I think 10 or 11 gets them in the playoffs. With this division, I think it's going to be the best division in football. So you need 10 or 11 wins. I think that's the bare minimum to make the playoffs.
I've got you there as well. I've got 10 or 11 getting teams in, and it is without question the best division in football. Lily, how many games will the Packers win?
I'm going to say minimum 11. I mean, I think they need to have a much better record in the division, first of all. We're going to start there and then, chuck in some more wins, but I'm hoping the Packers get 11 plus this year.
All right, Dan, I have too much respect for you. I'm not going to put you on the spot for a number, but can I ask you if the Lions are going to repeat as NFC North champs?
How is that not putting me on the spot, Lou? How is that any different than asking me? It would be easier if you asked me for a number of wins. So look,
who's winning?
I'm
Who's winning
bookmarking that, Dan, because if you say they're winning it, I'm bookmarking it and I'm running it on our Fox 9 broadcast.
If I say no, they're not going to win the division, what do people think of me then here in Detroit? If I say yes, they're going to win the division, everybody thinks that I'm a homer. I think they win 11 or 12 games, and that's going to put them right in the mix with these teams. I agree with these guys. It's going to be a heck of a division. Nobody's winning 15. Nobody's winning 14, I don't think. And according to Kyle Brandt, the whole key is don't have any players in the top 100, and you too can win the division.
Hey, this show's all about homers. If I had a Bears helmet on set, I'd be wearing it right now. We need to take our final timeout. We give our keys to the game of the week and week one right after this.
Major League Baseball on Fox.
What I'm doing, getting right to it. The money is talking, I'm flowing, it's coming in just how I do it. Yeah, can't stop, nah, won't stop. Yeah, it's been on live, you don't believe it, just watch.
Jaw-dropping stuff. Major League Baseball all season long on Fox.
All right, welcome back. Guys, we have a minute left. Dan, give me a key to the Lions-Packers game Sunday.
Ball security, you're on the road. You've got to avoid those big momentum swings that can really get that home crowd going. So I would say look at the turnover ratio, and the Lions have got to get Jordan Love on the ground.
How about at Green Bay? Lily?
I'm going to say the opposite. I hope the Packers offense gets out to a fast start. The Lions defense has made Jordan Love's life miserable the last couple of times that they played. So get out to a fast start and allow Micah Parsons and your defense to be your closer.
Ahmad, Ben Johnson's had great success against Brian Flores' defense. How do you see this one shaking out?
Yep. Well, Ben Johnson is not Caleb Williams. He won't be playing. So keep it simple offensively for J.J. McCarthy. Run the football and confuse Caleb Williams. Don't allow any explosive plays.
I think the Bears hold Minnesota without a touchdown in this game. I think they hold J.J. McCarthy to 3 points. Of course we do, because I'm a homer on First and North. Guys, good to see you. Good luck in week one. For Dan, Lily, and Ahmad, I'm Luke Canellis. Thanks for watching. Enjoy week one of the NFL season.